Welcome back, guys. Now we're going to start learning how to do the math and talking about density. You're going to use algebra a lot in this class. It's almost applied algebra. And density is something we use a lot in chemistry. You use it a lot with just determining logical things that go along with chemistry. So here's your equation. We're just going to do these two things. We're trying to solve for the unit in volts. So right now, we're trying to solve for M, that's mass. So how do we isolate mass? Well, we've got to do the opposite of, we're going to try to move that, we're going to try to move the V from the right side of the equation to the left. And we see that the V is divided, so we always do the opposite to move it. So V is divided, so we times each side by V, and we get dV equals M. There we go. The one on the right, we're trying to solve for volume now. Now this time we're going to, we're still going to move the denominator over to the left, and then we're going to divide it out. So let's move the V over. So let's times everything by V, and we get dV equals M. Remember, these things cancel. But now we still have to isolate the V. So we see that D here is multiplied, so now we're going to do the opposite and divide out the D on each side. The D's cancel on this side. You get V equals M over D. So there's your quick review. Just always do the opposite and always move the denominator over first. You'll be all right. So now let's move on to density. So define density. It is the mass of substance per unit volume, or how much it weighs per given volume. It is an intensive physical property that becomes important in later units. Yeah, that's basically what it is. The units of density are grams per milliliters. Now you also hear another way, grams per cubic centimeters. Now this cubic centimeters is also abbreviated CC. That's what you hear at all the medical shows, and they're saying, give me 50 cc's of whatever. That's what they're talking about, cubic centimeters. It equals a milliliter. They're all the same. But the equation for density is the equation you just saw. So density, it says the mass of a substance, we know it's mass, per, which means divide, unit volume. There it is. D equals M over V. Density equals mass over volume. This formula is on your formula chart, so you don't have to worry about memorizing it. But you're going to use it so much, you're going to have no choice but to memorize it. Now, the density of water is the bare bones density. It's just 1. It's 1.0 grams per milliliter. You could also say 1.0, oops, say 1.0 grams per cubic centimeter. Like that. Either way is fine, but the density of water is just 1. That's an easy one to remember. Oh, there it is. Didn't realize I had it on there. Cool. Well, there it is. Everybody saw this in case you want to see it. All right. Under what circumstances will something float on water? If you remember from all your science classes before this, especially in biology, the object with the lower density will always float. So that is the density of the subject, with less density of water. So it's got to have a density of less than 1 to float. For it to sink, it would be more than 1. And if it's of 1 exactly, they'll mix. Now, using what you know so far, what is more dense? Ice or liquid water? Remember, go to the kitchen, get you a cup of ice water. You'll see that ice floats to the top, which is weird. We talk about that next semester. But ice, more dense. The liquid water is more dense because it's on the bottom. Or ice floats, so it's less dense. So this question asks what is more dense. Whatever. Write down what you need to write down. All right, now let's start with the mass, or the math. Certain solid has a volume of 35.7, so volume equals 35 85.7. Has a mass, M, of 85 grams. What is its density? Okay, well, density equals mass over volume. So we just plug and chug. We have 85 over 35.7, which equals 2.4 grams per centimeter cubed, which equals 2.4 grams per centimeter cubed. Remember, you got to use centimeter cubed because it's the unit given to you in the question. Also, you can't forget your sig figs. We only have 2 here, so our answer can have no more than 2 significant figures. Please keep that in mind as you're doing all the math that you do in all of your classes. So the density of gold is 9.3. It's 19.3. And it has a mass of 200 grams. We're trying to find the volume. Well, density equals mass over volume. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can plug in your numbers and arrange those around. I always prefer to rearrange my symbols first, because then I don't have to worry about where I put the decimal, and that's just the way my brain works. So I'm going to isolate the V, so I'm going to multiply the V out, and I get dV equals M. And I'm going to divide the D out on both sides. That will cancel. So V equals M over D. Now just plug and chug. 200 divided by 19.3 will give you, the exact number it gives you is 476. But in your notes, there is no decimal here, which means we only have 1 sig fig, which means we're going to round this 4 to a 5 and call it 500. Never forget about your sig figs. That's all we got.